Hello.
Hello.
What are we going to make today?
We're going to make some Virgin Islands ginger beer.
And that's from
this book called Homemade Root Beer and Soda Pop.
Homemade
Stephen
Root Beer and Soda
Cresswell.
Pop by Stephen Cresswell, and that's where you get some of your recipes. Now, what we're doing here in this style of soda making, is that different than what they usually talk about in this book?
Yes, this book.
So do you want to confuse people here? Because if you buy this book, this particular method of soda making isn't necessarily explained in that book, is it?
No,
But you're using that book how?
Well, I use this book to get ideas for syrups that would make a good fermented soda. So you can make syrup from fruit or from all different kinds of things. And this book has some nice combinations to make a syrup. And then you can use these syrups to make a fermented soda just by adding our soda culture.
Okay, so we're going to use the recipe in this book for the syrup.
Right.
And that's where it ends. Mm-hmm. So is this step one here? Making the syrup?
Well, step one, of course, is making your soda culture, because you
Right.
have to have that ready. So that takes about a week, realize.
Right,
And
and-
you'll be ready to start making your soda.
And in case this that video wasn't attached to this particular soda making video, make sure you watch the one on making the soda culture. And then that's step one. And this really then is step two.
Yes.
Okay, and now we're making a syrup.
Yes.
And so what do we need here to make this syrup for this ginger beer?
Well, we need to start out with a half gallon of water, filtered water, something that doesn't have the chlorine. And then you need just white table sugar or a sweetener of your choice.
Okay.
You don't want to use honey because, as I said in the other making the culture video, it will really slow down the fermentation process.
Okay.
If you use honey, you have to expect it to take about a month
Okay.
to make your soda. And then I have here 2.5 ounces of freshly grated ginger root.
You literally 2.5. We've got a little kitchen scale here, but you don't need a fancy digital one. You can get anyone at the supermarket. So
Yeah.
2.5 ounces of freshly grated. And this is organic ginger root because we want to make it organic if we can, right?
Exactly.
This is from the co-op.
And then we also have some organic lemon juice. And you can use
Of course, you can use real lemons too.
lemon juice if you have access to lemons. We don't have lemons that grow.
Usually
in
the bottle on the lemon juice will tell you the equivalent of, equivalency between what a lemon is versus teaspoon-wise and stuff. So.
Yeah, and I kind of experiment anyway.
Right.
That's loosely based on the Virgin Islands ginger beer.
Loosely based, exactly. Exactly.
So,
A really special recipe.
what I'm going to do is just take this half gallon of water and pour it into my big pot over here.
Okay. So our half gallon of water in the pot.
And I'm just going to put that on high
Okay. So
so
putting
that
that
it will
on high.
come to a boil.
All right.
And I'm going to add to that my ginger root.
Okay. We got our 2.5 ounces of ginger root that we're going to put in there before it comes to a boil, huh? We're going to put it in right away.
That will work fine, and you can put it in after it comes to a boil. I don't think it matters.
Okay.
So. All right, and then we're just going to put the lid on that so that it will come to a boil more quickly.
A little faster.
So once that comes to a boil, what I'm going to do is turn it down and simmer it for about half of an hour. So we will come back in about a half an hour and do the next step.
Okay, we're going to come back after that ginger itself has been simmering for a half hour.
Yes.
Okay, great. So it's how long later?
It's a half an hour later, and our syrup here has been boiling happily. Well, simmering. We brought it to a boil and then lowered the heat to low. And now we've let it simmer for a half an hour.
Okay, simmer for half an hour. Now what do you got here before you do that?
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 1.5 cups of white table sugar.
1.5 cups of white table sugar.
While it's hot like this,
Okay.
so that the sugar dissolves really well.
Right, of course. That's 1/2 cup and a cup.
Yep.
Do it any way you want.
And then just stir that up so you make sure that it's all dissolved. And then once you're sure your sugar is dissolved, you can go ahead and turn off your heat.
Turn off the heat. All right.
And we're going to add 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. So here's our lemon juice.
How many tablespoons?
2 tablespoons.
2 tablespoons of lemon juice. So whether you get it from a bottle or you get it from a lemon, you're getting 2 tablespoons of juice. Well, you did get it from a lemon if you use it from a bottle, but you know. You know what I mean. And you're mixing that in next.
Yep.
Great.
Okay. And then, it's always good to kind of taste at this point to see if you're getting what you want. So, just to get a little bit on your spoon.
Are you getting what you want?
Whew! So this has a very strong ginger taste because, as you know, we just did half a gallon of water.
Right.
And so we're going to be diluting this to make it a full gallon. So you want it to be strong. So it's good. It's great that it's strong right now. And it's very sweet, too. We have that sugar in there. So now the next step is we're going to strain it into our jar. So actually, let me use this strainer, sorry.
Strain it into our jar next. And where are we at? Oh, got the strainer. Next, we're going to strain it into the jar.
And I don't know, can you hold the strainer?
Sure, I can.
Let's stir.
I can hold the strainer and the video camera at the same time. I can be your assistant. That's a better angle. And this big old jar, you can get these big jars. Sometimes delis or restaurants get supplies in them and they give them away. They'll give them to you instead of recycling them. And sometimes you can just buy big gallon jars at various supply stores and all. They're really handy to have a few of these around. We have a big collection of them. But yeah. All right. So we're straining it back in the jar that we poured the water in from the first time. Right?
Yes. And then I also put a knife or a metal spoon in there. That's always a spoon to help be sure that the jar doesn't break when you're pouring.
Because that's not designed to take right hot liquid, so that helps a lot. That's your grandmother's trick.
You don't want your jar to break with all your precious syrup in it. And the other thing is, if you do this, if you pour it into the jar after it's been boiled, it helps to sterilize the jar a little bit. Same time. So it's nice to just put your hot liquid in the jar.
So what's next?
And so the next thing I'm going to do is
you're getting in the way of the. Remember, you're on camera, so. Okay.
So the next thing actually is to fill the jar the rest of the way with the filtered water. So I'm just going to fill this up.
All right, and we'll continue when it's full. Jar's full, and so what's up?
So I actually didn't fill it all the way to the top. You'll notice I filled it close to the top. So what we're going to do now is we're going to cover this with some cheesecloth and just let it sit out on our counter for until it cools. So when it gets to room temperature, then it will be time to add our soda culture. So if you added the culture right now, it would be too hot and it would kill the culture. So we want to wait until this has cooled down to room temperature.
Very important point. So let's take a look what that looks like. So now this is going to sit for how long now?
This is going to sit until it gets to room temperature.
All right.
So if you have the time, you can just let it sit out on your counter like this for the rest of the day. That's probably what we'll do. If you're in a hurry, you can put it in a sink full of cool water or put it outside if it's a cold day. Things that can cool it down faster.
That's right. And so, all right. And just to note that you kept that knife in there. What's up with that?
Well, right now, if I stuck my hand in to pull that knife out, it would be really hot.
So you're going to wait till it cools down.
I'm just going to leave it in there till it cools down. It's not going to hurt anything in there. So.
Okay, we'll take a look with we'll put the culture in it and when it cools down.
Yes.
Great. Thank you.